Okay. How's everybody doing today?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi,
Good.
good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you. I'm looking a little crazy here today. I've
Hello,
had four
ma'am.
grandchildren in my house for 2 days straight, and I've had very little sleep, so I'm here on a wing and a prayer. Hope you're doing well.
Yes.
Good. I think we've got a few more to come in, so we'll wait just a minute. Get everybody in. Oh, I've got some people waiting. Hold on just a minute. A minute, all. I am recording at this point, so I'm not going to stop recording because I find when I do that, I forget to record. And then if you have to go back and listen to this, you don't know what's happening. So it's a mess. So I'm going to make sure that I keep that on there. And it is 12:46, so we will begin. Again, welcome. Hello. It is Saturday. I understand if you have a sick child, I understand. Bless your heart. I know it is rough, but it is wonderful to be with you again today. We are back at it. And the wonderful thing, I don't know if you know this, but this will be our last meeting for 2 weeks, or really, it seems like almost 3 weeks, really, because you will not meet with me March the 1st. That is the beginning of TU's spring break. And spring break at TU is from March 1 to March 8th. And then we do not come back online and meet again until March 15th. So you have quite a span of time there. At least you're not involved on a Saturday in class for about 3 weeks. Gives everyone a nice break in the middle of the semester. We come back, we start week 9. And when we start week 9, you will remember me telling you that you will be doing some observation videos. That's where you watch the video and then you write up what answer the questions, and you do that on a discussion board. That is the second part of your observation work for this class. You will upload those hours into Anthology just like you've been uploading your hours for your face-to-face on-site observation class that you've been observing. So that will complete that requirement for this class, but that will start in week 9. And I'll have some directions about that later on. Today is all about a new topic that we're going to be somewhat discussing. You're going to be doing more discussion work in your breakout rooms over project-based learning. Through the years of teaching this course, I have had some teachers in the master's level say, hey, we are an inquiry-based school. We do this 24/7. Is there anyone in our group today that comes from a school that teaches the inquiry-based learning approach, or project-based learning, or it can be problem-based learning? Does
Yes.
anybody?
Yes.
Yes, talk to us.
Yes. I did that in an elementary school. It was a private school for about 7 years, a Christian
Wow.
school. And they went from what we're doing now, they went to complete project-based learning and cross-curricular project-based learning.
Did you find that their test scores went up?
The test scores did go up, and it was very equitable, I feel, for most kids, because kids who were not great test takers, it allowed kids to perform based on their skills and not necessarily a
Yeah.
certain way of processing. So
Yeah.
everybody had a chance to be successful.
That's right. That's right. It is very, very interesting. I don't know if you would ever have the opportunity to go in and visit a school like this. Personally, I've never had that opportunity. I would love it. But
Mhm.
there was a lady I worked with in one of these classes, and she worked in Augusta. And they had an elementary school there that did project-based learning throughout their grade levels, K through fifth. And she said it was dramatic because their test scores were higher than anyone else in their county. So it's really something to look into if you've never had a privilege to see it. And I would think it would be totally awesome to go into a school and observe. It is a different way of teaching. It's very different probably than what you do every day, but it really is a great way for students to not only just learn, but learn about the world around them and have a sense of community and a sense of, what I say makes a difference, kind of. I think uh, they become like a part of the equation because what this all boils down to is you say, well, how am I going to apply that to a pre-K or a kindergarten classroom? Well, it can be applied very easily. I use the example of children love a playground. The playground is the science room of kindergarten. If you don't know that, you need to know that that's where you can do all science lessons in kindergarten is on the playground. They love a playground. They love everything about it. And for instance, there was a group of kids that became very interested in their playground and went to the teacher and said, "We want some flowers on our playground." Just something as simplistic as this. And uh, this gave them vision, and they began a complete process of figuring out how can we get flowers on our playground. This was their problem. This was their project, and they worked for 6 weeks creating a flower bed in and on their playground. Now, that's just about as simplistic as you can get. You're going to see today, when you go into your groups, you're going to be able to see two examples of two students who have completed this lesson plan for this class. Now, their plan has 8 days. Your plan only has 5. Okay, 5, which is a lot easier than an 8-day lesson plan. Yours is only 5. And but you can see the evidence today when you go into class into these breakout rooms. You're going to be able to look at those lesson plans and see what these people put together and how in depth this lesson plan is. This is not something that you can just say students will write a creative essay on yada yada yada. It's got to be very specific as to how they're going to plan this out and how you're going to plan it out for them and exactly what they're going to be doing. So you can look at the evidence there with 2 actual plans that have already been planned. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to answer the prompts that are presented in this breakout room, and you're going to go through those prompts by using your internet search engines to find information that you need to answer those prompts. Hopefully, by the time you finish, you will have a better sense, or you will have some idea as to what project-based or problem-based learning can be. But the main thing you need to know as you begin brainstorming about this particular project that we're going to be doing is what kind of problem would your students have in pre-K or kinder? Or what kind of project could you give them? I've even heard something as simplistic as can our students handle a class pet? Come on in. I thought he was trying to come in the door. Okay. But anyway, yeah, something that simple. Something that simple. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Everybody's got to have a coffee break. But something that simple could be what you would work on. So don't think, a lot of people have the opinion that, well, this isn't for pre-K and kindergarten. She's way off base here. We need to be talking about 5th graders. That is not true. Who teaches pre-K in here? Raise your hand. Don't you know those children can participate in something like this? Yes. They would be, look at that smile. Yes, they would be all in. And it could be it doesn't have to be anything like rocket science, people. Just think like a child. What would creatively they think about? Like, what would we like to solve? And you can start kind of brainstorming today as to what your plan might look like. This has been moved, the due date has been moved to week 10. And I have noted that in both the discussion board and in the Dropbox for this assignment. So you have quite a while before it's due. But the reason why I do that is I give you time so you can think about it, so you can come up with a plan and it's not just something rushed. Please take advantage of that. Don't wait to the last minute. It's not a very good thing. So that's kind of my opening remarks today about project-based learning. It is mentioned in our textbook as one of the approaches that you can use in pre-K or kindergarten. And it is very, very, very good. It's a good thing. Kids can really learn a lot from it. Not only are they learning information, but they learn how to learn cooperatively. They learn how to get along with others cooperatively. And if you've ever experienced kindergarten, they don't like to do that. That's not, they're so into self, what me. It's very hard for them to work collaboratively, but it's something they need to learn how to do. And it can be done. You just have to work at it because I see some people shaking their hands. Yeah. So that's where we are. Now I'm going to stop for a minute and ask you if you have any questions that you would like to ask now. Go ahead. Anything that's burning on your heart that you just need to ask away. Anything. Anything troubling anybody today? Anybody confused?
Professor, one question. How
Yes.
many of the in-class observations should we be doing?
You should only have 4.
Four. Okay.
4 hours. Is that almost done? Are you almost done with that, everybody? Are you still working on it? That's fine. You have until week 8 to get that completed.
So I'm sorry, if it's not Miss Sullivan, if
Yeah.
I can interject. So we can have observation in the same week frame.
Yes, you're saying you might do 2 in 1 week.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Just as long as you have 4 when you log into Anthology and put them all in there. If you happen to do 2 in the same week, nobody's going to say anything. They'll say something if you don't have 4.
Thank
Anything else? Are y'all all satisfied? Very satisfied? Good. Okay.
I have a
All right.
question. I have a
Yes, somebody,
question.
yes.
Sorry.
Yes, Kim, yes.
Um, did you have any questions for the observations? Just that 1 week we had the 1 questions that you asked for. That's it.
That's it. You don't have to do
So,
any more until week 8. You'll see new questions.
okay. So when I
When
upload, I just uploaded the 1 observation that we had
that's
in
all
week
you had to
1.
do was that one time.
That's fine.
You
Okay.
just
But logging
uploaded
the
that.
hours. But I am doing my hours, so I go in and log down my hours that I do. Correct.
Yes.
That's okay.
You nailed it.
That's
Yeah, what she's
Thank you.
saying is I've been
Mhm.
doing my hours and I've been going in each week and logging in those hours, but I haven't been writing on the discussion board. No, you only did that in week 4. You will come back in week 8. I'll have basically some questions that are what I consider over the span of time that you've done this. What have you gained? And you'll answer some new questions in week 8. And then that is it. And that's upcoming. That's coming up this week, isn't it? Are we on week 7? Haven't you just done week 7? So we're in week 8. Okay, yeah, that's how it rolls. So in week 8, you'll have some new questions to answer for the discussion board. And by the way, I don't post anything during spring break. You won't hear from me. I won't post anything next Sunday. You won't hear a word from me, and it'll go quiet. And then you can work on whatever you need to work on. If you want to go ahead and start on this assignment, I believe you'll have access to it as far as project-based learning or problem-based learning, and you can work from there. Any other questions? There is no midterm and there is no final in this class. The final is really more of a lesson plan, which you do 2. You do 1 for pre-K and kinder, and you do a reflection. Now, that's all you have to do. And then I will also be speaking on those things when we come back, probably in week 9. I'll get those out and we'll go over those. So but buddy, when you hit week 9, y'all, it just falls like dominoes. It's over with. So I'll go ahead and pull that out, the ending out, so you can see where we're headed, and then you have a chance to work on that as well. Anything else as I am checking out and seeing what we're getting to today? Okay, so let me share out. Let me first do this. I'm going to publish some things. You're going to see a group assignment come up, and I'm going to share out the board with this. Give me just a second. We're going to share this out to you. And can you see it? I don't think you're seeing what I want you to see. Hold on.
We can see the home screen to your
Yeah,
computer.
that's not what I want you to see. All right, let's try again. Share out. There we go. Hang on. Here we go. Now, can you see it, guys?
Yeah, it's on group assignment.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. I'm going to put you in a group, and basically you're going to be, it looks like you're going to be in two groups, probably be easiest. And then you're going to go in and you'll just create a Word document. You can create any kind of thing you want to do. I mean, if you want to do a PowerPoint, you can do that. And you're going to go through this list of 9 things, and you're going to reach out and find a resource that defines what project-based learning is. You're going to find a resource of a teacher who's completed project-based learning, or she could have videos or blogs on any grade level. You're going to find a resource that has project-based learning that is being used in pre-K and the kindergarten classroom. You want to specifically find a teacher that has completed some project-based learning either in pre-K and kinder. You want to do both. You want to have representation of both. You're going to create the document to share with your colleagues as a group. We'll probably stop and do that. It's 1:01 now, and we're over at what, 2:15? Is that right? 2:15? I don't know if we're going to share out, but what I want you to do is you create that document so you can drop it in the Dropbox. Okay, we may not have time to share out. Is what I'm trying to say. And then, of course, each person is required to help out with the group and to help do this. All right. If we have time, we'll present out. I'm not sure. It seems like our time just gets shorter and shorter. So I don't want to waste any more time talking when you can be in your groups working on this. I'm going to stop the share. You will see one other assignment come up called the 5 to 7 shift. It is mentioned in our textbook, but it is very limited. You have all you need in that Dropbox to make this assignment happen. This is a reflection paper on that theory. It truly is something that happens in especially kindergarten. You will have a child that is very far behind, and then in January they come back after Christmas and something happens and all the light bulbs come on. It is called the 5 to 7 shift. It's a true phenomenon that really does happen, and many, many teachers speak of seeing this in their classrooms. And so you're going to do some small research in this area to report back in a reflection paper. All right. That's the only thing new, and it is not due for quite some time. I think it's in March. All right. So at this time, without any further ado, I'm going to send you to your breakout rooms. Okay. So hang on just a minute.
Ms. Stovall, for that 5 to 7, will we have access to that?
Yes, you will have it. And I believe it just was published. Yes, you should see it now. All
Okay.
right, and let me move you to your breakout rooms. We're going to have 2 breakout rooms. Okay, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to have 6 in each. Hang on. Had to see how many we have. Oh, wow. It already did it for me. Good deal. All right. See you later.
Oh.
No, I can't do that right. Oh. You know where they sell all the salad dressing? There's one called, there's one called Italian seasoning, and it comes with a thing like this, called, Italian seasoning. Now, that's all you need. And what I do is you just sprinkle the ranch on the meat, sprinkle ground gravy on the meat. And you sprinkle that Italian seasoning.
What would you say they were already saying about you?
No, she was in there, and I said, "Well, out of there." I said, "I'm in there teaching," and so I got her out of there, and so we came in here. They're in a breakout.
Oh,
So anyway, and then you pour this on top of it. This is the pepper cheese and a little juice. Pour that in there and it tenderizes. Put all this on your meat, and then it's the stick of butter on. Put a stick of butter on. Put all that down. And really, like I put mine in the hot pot and leave it there overnight. Cook it all night long. And you'll wake up and smell it. It's so good. That's all you gotta do. But now, let's get a, thing of that Italian seasoning. You can probably get it at the grocery store.
what?
Italian seasoning. You know, like the dry meat.
Yeah.
Right there where the, okay, where the salad dressing. Yeah, they left this morning. Yeah, they left this morning. But all that, and you just, put the, No, I've got all this for you. You ain't gonna buy that. You got brown gravy, you got ranch. You just need Italian seasoning. And it's in a box. And it's just a little, well, in fact, you can buy it in a packet. You know, I just don't have any. I give it to you. And then you just put all the seasonings, put the dry gravy mix, put the ranch mix. Just put the meat down and then put all that on top of it. And then you don't pour. Do not pour any water in it. Italian. And it is so good. It's something. I know it did. And like I said, you got clock. Oh, that's all you need. And you just put it on the load. You put it on the load. Put that something. Then, when you put all the dry brown gravy mix, the ranch mix, the Italian seasoning on there, then you throw that on. That's your little pepperoncini peppers. Now, it's a little spice to it, but it won't. The more chip, it'll just tenderize that meat. Exactly. And it will tenderize your meat. Pour the juice in there and everything. I get it all in. And that's all you need. Really, if I hadn't seasoned, Mama, I'd give it to you. But I don't have no of that. I've used it all up. I've used my Italian seasoning up. Well, I mean. So, yeah, that's it. You'll enjoy it. It'll be delicious. But I don't think that you will, you won't find a better roast. And it's the only way I cook roast. Yeah, that's your jug. I tell you, I gave that recipe to Susie. She made it. She said, I believe that's the best roast I've ever eaten in my life. And I gave it to Janet. And Janet, then her husband does all the cooking. You kept going there for water on it. She said, at least said not pour no water on it. Don't do it. He said, don't you know those things are wrong. She said, Tracy, leave it alone. And then they ate it and Janet said, he said, that's not, and they've made it like many times. Because it's one thing you make it and forget it, and then just play it. It's ready. Yeah, you want, and we ate it last week. I know 2 more times we made little sandwiches out of it. Eat it up, make sandwich. But it should be sent. They got up there. They drove into the place. They come and got them last night and took them out to eat. He said it was all the elders in their line. And he said, I've never been a more lovely word. He said, oh my gosh. He said, I felt a little all good. He said, that's just the elders and their wives. He said, fantastic meat. He just went on and on about how fantastic the meeting was. Today, they have been all over the church. He's seen his office and everything. And they are taking them all through the community, doing a tour of the community. And I think this afternoon, they're going to look at some houses that they saw that they liked. And he's had nothing but positive things to say since he left. I think they were very excited. No, they come back. Yeah, he's preaching tomorrow. Yeah, he's preaching. And so they'll be up there, and they have a fellowship meal. He said their church up there, they have a fellowship meal once a month, and that they wanted people to come to be a part of that. So he can meet the front. So they'll be doing that tomorrow and then Monday. So they'll preach tomorrow and maybe I don't know if they have Sunday service at night. I'm not sure. I don't know the name, but they, he said it's cold, but and he said snow wasn't on the ground. He said that he wasn't like back. And but he said it was getting cold, and
They had them approved already, you know, reserved and everything. They got a little car and drove over and didn't have nothing else really for it. Just that they had good flight and he flight got in. And the kids were here and they were here Thursday night and JoJo stayed up all night long and then you were here yesterday and then last night, well, much better, last night she went to bed about 10:30 and she woke up at 1:30 and then at 1:30 I couldn't get her back to sleep. And she was so ill the first day, she was just a mess. So finally at 2:30 I put her back there to bed and I got her in the bed, she cried and carried on about that. And then we got her calmed down, and she went to sleep till 5, and then she was back up. And, so Tina said, I'll be there at 9 to pick her up, and that was good, by that class at 10. And then, Tina went out, and I asked her, I said, when she spends the night with you, do you have any issues? She said, she's going to stay with us twice. And she said, I didn't have a problem. I didn't feel it. She was loving me all night, most of the night, and it really wasn't there last night. I said, I really think Thursday night she was having 2 o'clock. I said, I don't know what it was. I said, I do not believe that she was resting well. And her little old cheeks were so red, and I said, I know she did fall out in here about 6:30 this morning. She just fell over and she was asleep. But I said, I know she was like, I said, she probably something. And Wild Man Sam went all day long. I mean, just as hard as he could. And about 7 o'clock last night, he fell. And he never woke up. We slept all night. Yeah, those are fine. They just went fine. But she's, I don't know. I don't know if it's that or what it is. I don't know. I just don't know. I got a feeling that she's just kept them up a lot. What I think she's kept them up a lot. That she's not happy so. That's some of the problem. She does not want to miss out on anything. I'm gonna tell you something. She is one little chunk lady. What I mean is, if they're doing it, she wants to do it, and she knows. Like if you try to tell her otherwise, or show her a different way. I bought her a little rabbit, a little dog or something, and I thought she'd be all happy about that. I didn't have her the same thing. And even this morning, I called in there climbing up on that screen. I said, what did she have? Well, she don't have brush yet. She's not ready for that. So she is very advanced. Yes, and she's very advanced. She knows more than you think. She is very intelligent and constantly knows. I know that. Yeah. She's watched them. She wants to be like her brother. She wants to be just like me. She wants to do what they're doing. That's all there is. She can hold a pencil like 3 of them or 4. I never seen anything like that. I know Vance had to show her because she's working with them. And she was doing it. No doubt about that. She did. Oh. They're coming into it. But this, I need to be back in there because I got class and they're in their private groups right now working. So that's my. Okay, all right, we'll get you and get out. Let's go around this way. Nope, you did not put any water in. Oh, the only thing you're gonna put in is in peppers that are juice. That's all you need to do. Don't put no water in.
Where was in there, right there, the power line.
Okay.
Just looking at pictures and stuff. There's not a clue, Mike. And they know what you know.
We'll stop two. Take the roll. It's negative in this. Jaden Pierce is there. Jenna is there. Kelly Reed. Kim Leader. Margaret Williams. Ursula Clark. Andres. Nikisha Wilton. Rachel Boyd. Sean. Shanice. And nothing about it yet. Let's take this. Okay. Automatically dropped.
That's a better thing to see in my life. It's very pretty. I can't wait to try that.
Let's see, I'm sharing. Looks like some of them are still in there. And we're back. Did everybody survive? Y'all look like you survived. Good deal. Okay. All right. Today's been a very quiet. Do what?
I said we're all barely surviving. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, hang in there. Hang in there. Don't give up. Don't give up. All right. So we had two groups. One of the two groups, would you just kind of share out? If you want to share your document with us, you can. Tell us what you found.
I
Okay.
will,
We'll
I
go.
will,
You
oh,
want to share?
yeah, I will share. Y'all let me know if I missed anything.
Okay.
All right, so everybody see project-based learning?
Yes.
All right, so our wonderful team did this as our project. We learned again the definition, mixed no growth through your leisure. I don't know if you want me to read all this, but
You don't have to read it all. Just tell us basically what just
so,
overview.
so
Yeah.
this overview defined what project-based was learning, also the source of where we got the information from. This was two resources. We got one from Peace.org, which showed you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another project-based learning experience explained through one of the teachers. This was information on the 8 steps that you do through project-based learning.
Mm-hmm.
This was also what we got as the research and what we figured that throughout a project-based learning project that students are able to do and learn afterward. And I want to make sure I didn't forget that we also in this resource added a blog from one of the teachers.
Right.
Yeah, the blog and the actual lesson of the student.
Wonderful. And what they did.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
So one thing we learned about it is, and we went into a further discussion because there is a big challenge of getting students out of the building, especially we all know other districts, but in Gwinnett district. So the one thing about project-based learning, I know our campus, we have a garden club. So I think one of the alternatives that they have been doing is utilizing clubs, music club, garden club,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and multilingual club as kind of like an alternative. But one thing we are, like I said, as teachers, looking at just the idea that we having more freedom to be able to take the kids to explore outside the four walls of
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah, Sean, I think you've hit on a great problem there. With accountability the way it is now, they don't want you to be doing anything that would look less than academic, correct?
Yes.
In other
Yeah.
words, taking children outside and walking them on the playground, even as simple as what we used to do, we used to have nature walks. They would pick up things and bring back into the class and we'd talk about them. Now there is almost you don't see that as what you're saying, I believe, Sean, is that they want them in that room at that desk working.
Yes, very much so. Because I might be stretching it very much, and I teach fifth grade.
Yes.
But even with the conceptualization, and I know this goes with my background, like I know, please excuse me, y'all, gambling, but I'm like, okay, there's math. Okay, there's math in gambling. Like we use dominoes, we use dice sets. So I was
Yes.
like, okay, I was even in my mind like, okay, a little casino set up with our kids with learning math. I go back to my middle school time when we were baking actually on campus because we had ovens in our school. So
Yes.
all those different things because I think about the concept of learning, with our hands and cooking and then
Yes.
all the cultures. So it really excites me of the idea of, us being able to teach them in that nature because, my kids last in sixth grade, that heat transfer lesson, I loved it because they was cooking pancakes and the kids really, they really got into it.
It is sad though that we're having a conversation here in this class about the fact that you can't do certain things, and none of this. Let me just say this: is clearly stated in the Dropbox. I don't expect anyone to implement this. You understand? I'm not requiring you to go in the classroom and do it because I know, number one, you've got a curriculum that you're trying to teach and you have things that you have to do, and it would probably be utterly impossible. But this is kind of like you're in Disney World and you can just kind of like plan like you want to plan. You don't have anybody over you. If you were in a world where that really existed, where you could go in and say, okay, this week we're going to do project-based learning and we're going to whatever it is, whatever your topic is. But it is sad that we are held so harshly accountable that you are almost looking over your back like, well, is somebody coming in here to look what I'm doing? Make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, make sure my students are doing what they are supposed to be doing. You're more concerned with that than you are, how can I engage these students in the most massive way that would cause creativity, that would cause them to engage and totally really learn something. And so much of our learning is automatic and just kind of like, okay, this is the way we've done it. This is the way we've always done it. We're going to do it this way. But this is encouraging you to think outside of the box again. What would it look like if I could do a week of project-based learning with my kids? Think about how much more, well, what their abilities would be to describe to you what they were learning, how much better they could do that by being participants in the learning rather than just sitting there absorbing it in a way that's what I call recall and recognition. There's so much more, that's the very bottom of the Bloom's taxonomy is, recall and drill and practice. But that is really where we spend a lot of our time. Don't you spend most of your time trying to get kids to?
Yeah,
Somebody's talking.
even in my class, I've gotten our students to want to even do the lessons, which I've kind of tricked them into the concept of wanting to teach their kids.
Sure.
But I just snatching from other cultures and like looking at YouTube, like you said, like we're focused on 5-year-olds. They have little kindergartens in Japan and China cooking and cleaning and their schedules are set up for them to learn.
Yes.
And I was looking at a YouTube about French. Like the French, they have an hour lunch. They teach placement. They teach appropriate ways to sit at the table. So it's the challenge of the rush.
Yes.
Of what we're
and
trying
pushing
to
in and pushing in. Oh, I've got to get this in today. So, yeah, excellent job there. All right. Can my second group go ahead and present out or just tell us maybe some things that you picked up that you weren't aware of or what you liked? Second group.
One thing that really stood out to me was the fact that it was for students that maybe don't assess well, that don't test well. So that way those students are still learning and they still manage to get the grade or to, well, for lack of a better word, get the attention that they need in the classroom, because sometimes the kids that fall under the radar don't get the same amount of attention. So they were still able to get that and learn, but in a different way. And I've never been the kid that could test well. So I took that personally, and that was what stood out the most to me.
I love that. I love that, Kelly. I really do. And, I'm right there with you. I was not a good test taker, and it was always drove me crazy. And yet that's where our efforts are most focused is on a test. How well are they going to do on the milestones? And what have I done to prepare them? Well, listen, this would be a great way to prepare them in ways that you couldn't even imagine, but it's not what we usually do in the classroom. But you do see from the research you looked at this afternoon, hopefully you see that it is being done in places. There are teachers out there doing this. It's just a matter of finding out who those teachers are and really looking at their work. And I hope you did get some time to do that today. Does this kind of open up your ideas on maybe creating a 5-day project-based learning lesson plan? Did this help in any way? Open
Absolutely.
up help
Got
some?
to brainstorm and, you know, different ways that we can implement this in the classroom.
This is true. You know, have them, you know, it's kind of like you have to have your, like you were talking about, Sean, you've got to have your students buy into it. So how are you going to get them to buy into it? And by that is through brainstorming and getting them to talk about what interests them and where their interests lie. And you never know what you might find out if you talk to your students, or what bugs them about the school. You know, talk to them about that. Are there things about the school you'd like to change? Why? You know, lots of ways to do that. So that is our lesson today in a nutshell. Thank you for being good participators. You can drop your, everybody can drop their, whatever they came up as a group into their Dropbox, and you'll have credit for it. Thank you for being participators today. I hope in the next few weeks you find time to get what you need done, and that you enjoy these weeks off from class, and then you'll be able to be back with us on the 15th. Attendance is important, and when you have you know, a lot of attendance issues, then that's going to create another problem. So you want to try to be here as many times as you can when we meet. But you will have these upcoming weeks off, two of them back to back. So that's a great thing. All right. Any other further questions before we move out of here? Okay. Well, you know my policy. If you do have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be glad to answer as quickly as I can. And I wish you all well, and have a wonderful break from coming here every other week. And have a great day.
Thank
you,
you.
Professor.
Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Yes.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.